So, hello and welcome to Matthew Jeffery, who's Head of Recruitment for EA Studios in Europe.
Hi.
Hello. So, Matthew, what's your role within EA?
So my job is I head up recruitment for Europe, for the studio. Critically, my job is to help the team and Electronic Arts find, attract and retain the highest quality talent in the marketplace. So finding the best artists, the best programmers, the best audio staff, best producers, get best game designers, and making sure that we're able to attract them into EA and they feel that they can make a difference and make high quality games.
Okay, so if I'm interested in EA, why should I work at EA?
I think the key thing is that, particularly within Europe, we're focused on quality. If you look at some of our previous games like Burnout Revenge, Black on the PlayStation 2, these are high quality games and we're continuing in that vein. We want to innovate and lead the games industry in what we produce. So I would certainly say that coming into EA, you're going to have the chance to be creative, to innovate, work on high quality games, and within that you'll have the chance to receive high quality training and development and hopefully reach your maximum potential and make those great games.
Okay, so I've researched EA on the internet and a lot of stuff
sure
come
you've
up
seen
on
interesting things.
Interesting things on EA Spouse.
Yep.
And the issues surrounding that in terms of working hours. How is EA, and specifically EA in the UK, addressing those issues of work-life balance?
So the interesting thing, I think that as with any industry which has project deadline related aspects, be it IT or mobile, definitely within the games industry and particularly within film, when you have a deadline to hit, there's obviously going to be those challenges that towards the end of a project and hitting that deadline, working hours increase. So the key thing for us is to make sure that we look at what can we do to reduce that sort of burden of hours towards the end of a project. So there's a number of things, looking at the pre-production process, ensuring that when we're scoping a game, that it's effectively, there's a strong schedule in place with effective timelines that the team can work to. And it's again making sure that the game design is locked down early in the process. So when looking at a game, is that you're not adding new features in towards the end of that product and that life cycle, that you do it at the start so the team can be sort of measured and produce that great game and hopefully, but not always, have less hours towards the end of a project.
Okay, so if you're locking down that game design, how do you ensure creativity? Obviously EA produces a large number of sequels.
Yep.
How do you ensure it remains fresh and you continue to innovate in those sequels?
So I think the key is that there are a number of sequels that come out, but you have to look at this in the wider context of the industry. If you've produced a great game, it deserves a sequel. If it doesn't get a sequel, then what does that say about the quality of the game?
Sure.
So there are very good games out in the marketplace, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of them. Metal Gear Solid 4, playing Pro Evolution 6, God of War 2's coming out,
great games.
Mario, all great games, but they're all sequels, obviously. So for us, what we're looking at is making sure that any game that we produce as a sequel has a lot of extra content in it. So if I look at FIFA this year, which is often accused of being one of those sequels that can have one or two in a year, FIFA 07 has a lot of additional content. Looking at the reviews, they're saying it's made massive steps forward, not only in terms of graphics, content, fluidity of the play, and a lot of those sort of interesting dynamics. So when producing a sequel, it's what the public want, because they're going out and buying it, but it's also making sure if the public want it, it has to have a lot of additional content and fresh features. But critical for moving forward for EA, we're producing a lot of new IP, a lot of new games, intellectual property. So I'm looking at things like Crisis, Army of Two, Spore, our own Black, the Steven Spielberg projects. All of these are new, fresh games, which, again, I think that you can probably agree, original, fresh, creative content, and that's the way forward for EA.
Is there anything you can talk about in the EA UK working on at the moment?
So there are some new projects that we're working on. So we've recently announced Black 2, which is going to be on next generation consoles. We're working on Order of the Phoenix for Harry Potter, and we're also working on Burnout 5. But there are several other new projects which we're working on, which we can't reveal any more details about today.
Any hints?
No hints.
Okay.
I'll just tell you that they're pretty genre defining, very interesting, and that's all I can say.
Okay, we'll wait with bated breath. So one of the concerns that a lot of people have is that EA is a very large company.
Yep.
I mean, how many people do you have in UK Studio?
So we're approaching around 500 people.
So 500 people. How do you ensure that each of those people can make a real impact and are not felt like a small cog in a large machine?
So I think that's a good point. So the philosophy for EA is big is good. Why do we say that? So effectively, it gives people more the chance to work on different game teams, transfer for, let's say someone's worked on Black, they have the opportunity to go and work on Potter or on a new game idea. They can go and work over in LA, in Canada, go and work in Japan, for example. So it gives the individual more of a chance to work on different game teams. But it also allows us to be able to train and present new learnings to people and scale up. So there's something called EA Knowledge, which is effectively where our key leaders, our key creative leaders, are able to post up their learnings of programming on PlayStation 3, for example, using the latest sort of game animation and UCAT technology, etc., posting up the learning so everybody in the EA world can learn from that. But when you say a big company, I think for me one other aspect I would highlight is that each game team has its own sort of small company feel. So the culture on Burnout is completely different to that on Harry Potter. And each individual on that team is encouraged to challenge, be creative, and hopefully feel that sort of family feel on that team. So I think big is good, and if you look at the industry in the past, a number of the smaller companies which were in the UK unfortunately went out of business. So we have that flexibility with the financial strength that we have to take more risks. So Spore is a risk, Crisis is a risk, the public may not like them, but they're very strong new game ideas, and we're betting on a different number of new projects moving forward. So hopefully you'll see big is good.
Good. And in terms of how do you, I mean, if you have individual companies, do you think there is an overriding EA culture? How do you cultivate that culture within the company?
Yeah. So I think that in terms of that sort of culture, I think there's a culture focused on making great games. What does that entail? It means that we need passionate people. So that means that somebody having a passion, it's not just playing games all the time, it's someone that wants to make a difference, be creative, try and innovate, speak up, challenge senior leaders in the business and say, you're on a totally wrong path, let's try it a different way. And through sort of challenging the status quo, we achieve new sort of directions and hopefully are more creative from it. So if someone's passionate about making a difference, someone's got that ability to challenge, to innovate within their given area, maybe in art, maybe game design, maybe audio, but they want to try something a little bit different, and that obviously helps us make great games. So hopefully that answers that.
So obviously looking at the culture and where EA is,
yep.
Where do you see EA going? Specifically, what is the strategy for EA in the UK?
So particularly for us, I think the first thing is to make games. Without great games, we're going to be nothing. So it's continuing to innovate, be creative, and just focus on building up the new game ideas we have. But what I think is exciting is obviously the time of the industry that we're in. Obviously Xbox 360 is out in the marketplace, and there's some great games already making great headway within there. Xbox Live has really taken off. PlayStation 3 is out now over in America and in Asia, and we're looking forward to that coming out in Europe and the UK. And lastly, Nintendo Wii. Who would have thought what a great concept from Nintendo, changing the whole user interface, introducing new dynamics into gaming. Great time to come in the industry. So it's not just about the creative power and the content of the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. It's about great gameplay. The Nintendo Wii's doing that, and portable gaming through the Nintendo DS, and obviously the PlayStation Portable. But interestingly, speaking to some of the people that have joined us recently from film, is that I remember when the gaming industry was seen as a sort of a backward cousin of the film industry. That's not the case now. We used to have problems of attracting people from film. Working on PlayStation 2 with the memory constraints, with audio and with the graphics. If you look at that now, we've got people openly wanting to join us from film because they have the opportunity to work on games in real time, on a non-linear path, in an online environment, and producing graphics and content which is unimaginable to within film. So it's just very interesting that film now is it's just feeling that gaming is really becoming the new film, and gaming's taking off in different directions and providing new career challenges, not only for us here in the UK and Europe, but also the industry as a whole.
Okay, so if I join EA and I'm in with one of the game teams, what kind of training and development would I be able to receive through my career?
So the key things there is firstly that you need a good manager to support you. So that means that person's going to meet with you on a regular basis and then assess with you how you're doing in your career, and also what sort of speed that you're developing. So from that, training and development comes. So we have a dedicated art and graphics trainer working on site here in Guildford, and we also have a dedicated programming trainer. So that's great that these individuals can spend either one-on-one time with people or work with people in groups and focus on the latest technology and developments. We also have a lot of management training, focusing obviously the strength of people management and how we can grow and mentor people within the teams moving forward. There's also training for game designers, for producers, for development managers, etc., to make sure that an individual can reach the limits of their capabilities. So it's not about someone just coming in and doing a job, it's about how we can get them to the next level and giving them the right autonomy and responsibility and training and development to take them on to that next level.
Fantastic. Okay, so obviously I'm now at EA. I'm now trained. I have a good manager.
Yep.
What can I expect? Where can I expect my career to go? What kind of career progressions and paths are there through the company?
So critical is there has to be a sort of a job ladder that people can actually move up in. So for all of our key disciplines, so if you look at art or programming or audio or any of the other management positions, there is a sort of scalable ladder that people can move up. So you can start off as a graduate coming in, and we absolutely love graduates, and hopefully we can touch on that a little bit later on, and have that sort of space for them to grow and to lead teams if that's something they're looking to do. Now, not only leading a team in terms of management, but the main thing is being able to lead the team in terms of the direction and the vision of where the game's going in a given discipline. So again, that's important that people know how they can progress their career and move up that ladder. So promotion from within is a critical philosophy for us at EA, rather than recruiting from above and obviously having the sort of potential issues that that can bring.
So a large number of the staff that are leaders now were previously graduates?
Definitely. So, I mean, that's critical. And if I look at Criterion Games, is that a graduate who joined us 2 years back is now the lead programmer for physics. So that just shows that you can come in, make a difference. And this, again, passion to make a difference. Passion is critical for us, and driving and challenging within.
Okay, so if I'm in EA and I'm doing well and I'm progressing through my career,
Yeah.
I have a game. I have a game design that I've always wanted to make.
Yeah.
Can I make that at EA?
So that's a good question. So obviously a huge number of people always have a killer idea for a game. So within the process, our general manager, Fiona Sperry, is openly encouraging people to come forward with those new game ideas, to develop, to challenge the game ideas that we currently have. So to do that, she set up a game committee, which is focused on hearing new ideas from all the different people, be it a graduate, somebody from QA, somebody who's got years of experience, etc. So critical for us is, yes, that we listen to those game ideas, and if hopefully it's a solid idea that we want to actually work with you on, we can actually then put that into a sort of early development phase, give it much more concept, focus it out, come up with new game ideas behind it. So very much so. But not every game is going to be made, because obviously we have to focus on those key resources of building quite a big development team around it and making sure that we have the sort of market space to develop it and make sure it's successful.
Okay, sounds fantastic. So if I want to take things forward, if I'm either a graduate or an experienced person,
Yep.
then how do I go about approaching EA?
So the key thing is there are a number of ways to approach us. So the key thing is to get yourself in front of us. So the first thing is that we have our job site, www.jobs.ea.com. That's one way that you can look at any of the jobs which are available at any one stage. The other thing is be proactive, and this is something I'm always encouraging people. Try to get to know people within EA. So you may have friends who work here, or that you may know particular people or heard of them in the industry. Send your details into them and get in touch via them with the recruitment team, and hopefully there'll be the right opportunity for you. So we generally try not to use recruitment agencies, because we generally prefer people to approach us directly, or we'll approach people outside. But critical for moving forward for me is attracting new young talent. And what does that mean? It means attracting graduates. So I've attended some recent industry events, and graduates are seen as raw labour. They're coming in to do menial tasks, etc. That's not the philosophy for a graduate. They have to come in, be fairly paid, remunerated, and actually have tasks which challenge them, make them feel that they can grow. So graduates are very much part of the success and future of this business.
Okay, so lastly, what are you playing right now?
So at the moment I'm playing Tiger Woods on Xbox 360, doing reasonably okay on it, loving FIFA 07, but more interested in some of the new things which are coming out, which I would say will be genre defining within the games industry, but you'll have to join us to actually find out more about that.
So watch this space.
Cool.
Cool. Okay, well thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you very much.